YouTube, the Line6 guitar port, using it just with a DAW, I'm getting latency, and I've been over this. You need to have either Gearbox, PodFarm, or PodFarm 2 running. And if you don't want that coloring or that effects because you're using an external multi-effector, like in my case I want to just use my Zoom because I've programmed it and I love those tones, and just use the guitar port as an interface, I would always have this latency, and I would be going into control panel and the Line6 monkey and all that nightmare, and always having this latency there. And I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm not using an internal sound card and an external interface. I'm aware that you have to use the same in and out, okay? But with the way that the problem that I've been having is you have to run their software to get the latency to go away. And oftentimes I will forget that because I'm not intending to use their software. Now, any software will work. Bias Effects works, Amplitube works, Guitar Rig works, Overloud works, Revolver works. So you just need to be running something. So that's the fix. I don't want to turn this into a discussion about why I'm using something I paid $20 for 10 years ago. I always end up using my Pandora as an interface, or I have an M-Audio Firewire interface, a 410. It's just one of these things where I'm just like, I want to use this piece of gear because it's sitting next to this computer where it's been, and oftentimes I'll go through this dance and then I never remember you need to run the software. So this video is it's not for you or anyone else, okay? It's not for anyone except for me, because I know in the future I'm going to have this problem again. This computer's going to die. I'm going to build another one, and then I'm going to hook that thing up, and I'm going to be getting latency, and maybe I'll be able to remember, you figured this out, you made a video, and then I can, go on my own channel and find it. I'm going to leave myself a note on my Facebook wall. I'll type the word Line6 guitar port latency issue, problem solved, and then I'll write, you got to have one of the apps going, because just using it in my setup, I haven't tried it with Reaper. I use Reaper, but really I use something called Adobe Audition, and that's because I have a skill set that I've developed where I can boogie. I can really get a lot done in a short period of time. So the old outdated tools that I use, that's really nobody's business except for mine. Listen to my music, and do you hear a person who's missing fingers for their fret hand making that music? Do you hear a person who's using junky gear? And if the answer is yes, then we kind of can't be friends, because what I hear is just good music. It doesn't sound like I'm using a junky DAW. It doesn't sound like I'm using a junky interface. It doesn't sound like I'm missing half of my fingers to play the instrument. It just sounds like good music when I listen to it. So I don't need anybody's help. I'm fine doing things the weird, cheap way that I do them. I don't go to Guitar Center. I don't have credit card debt. And if that's your bag, then that's great. But we don't have anything in common. What I'm doing is not what you're doing. I don't play covers so much. I will every once in a while. Music, other people's music influences me, and it comes back out of me, So I mean, I'm not perfect, but how I view like the guitar community, I was in that scene. I played in bands, I played in bars, played a lot more parties than bars. I was on the internet community for a long time, going on and on about Class D amps. No one listened, and now it's starting to be a thing. People are doing it. So I'm just in a kind of a unusual place where I have my own way of doing things, and that's the way I do them, and that's fine, because I'm just doing this for fun. I'm doing it because if I didn't do it, I would probably, it wouldn't be good. So I'm not charging anything for what I do. I'm putting it out there so I can have a record for it. It's not so much for you. If you enjoy it, that's great. But I'm not offering myself up as some type of a pro, a tech, or an expert who can help you. I do my thing. I have my own problems, and this video is just for me because I know I'm going to have this issue again, and hopefully I can remember, because the way my mind works is not good. Hopefully I'll remember, and then I can watch this and I'm saying, hey, you're one step short of getting it to work. You just need to turn on either Gearbox or Guitar Rig, Pod Farm 1 or 2. Or you want to get fancy and run amplitube and run bias effects, whatever you want to do. I'm thinking Gearbox, shut everything off except the tuner. And then maybe just hit an A and pull up the device manager and go into that system resources page and see which one of these programs uses the least resources. Maybe look into something called virtual audio cable. Is that going to help me? I don't know. So if anyone knows about this, using guitarport latency free without using any of their software, because I don't want to use it. The thing is I've programmed custom patches into a Zoom G1 and then a G3. The G3, not the G3N, but the slightly older one, firmware version 2 is what I have, and that has the 100 effects and 26 amps. And I really like that. I've got it programmed. I love those tones. So I don't necessarily want to have to fiddle around with software. If I have a song idea and I just want to throw it down, I just want to connect my Zoom, what I wrote the song on, what I'm used to hearing it. This is part of the tone, is part of the song, and then just get that recorded quickly. And that's always been a thing. And I never remember, hey dummy, just put the software on. So that's the purpose of this video. It's not me saying I use a guitarport and you should too. I would never tell you what you should do, unless you asked. And I might politely throw some information at you, but believe me, gear is it's like women. It's for guys, it's very particular taste in what they want to use, and I would never judge anyone. Well, I guess I would, but I wouldn't go on somebody's channel and be like, you love your Kemper, don't you? Like just some kind of like unwarranted comment. The stuff that I get all the time. I get that all the time. I get people like feeling sorry for me because I don't have the newest thing, and I get very, very angry about that. Especially when I listen to people's music and it's just doesn't have focus, or they don't have their own style. It's like, you're telling me I need to get what you have so I can make that music? Thanks. Anyway, that's something to think about if you're in this type of community or you comment a lot. And I'm going to let you go with that. Line6, guitarport. Better run that, get that monkey fired up and run your Gearbox, because otherwise you're going to be late and see something. You won't be seeing a good recording, I can tell you that. All right, you guys, take care.